When Maya Chen's computer screen went black at 11:52 p.m., erasing the most important discovery of her life, she had no idea that someone had been watching her every keystroke. Someone who knew that in exactly 12 hours, 6 astronauts would climb aboard humanity's first crewed mission to Mars. Someone who was willing to let them die to keep a secret. The gift Elon Musk was about to receive from his past would force him to choose between his greatest dream and the lives of the people who trusted him most. Maya Chen's eyes burned as she stared at the computer screen. The numbers didn't lie, but she wished they would. 11:47 p.m. In 12 hours and 13 minutes, 6 brave astronauts would climb into Starship and blast off to Mars. Maya had been working at SpaceX Starbase in Texas for 3 years, but she had never felt pressure like this. Her coffee sat cold beside her keyboard. Empty energy drink cans formed a small tower on her desk. She hadn't been home in 2 days. Her cat Einstein was probably mad at her, but none of that mattered now. Maya was a thermal protection systems engineer. Her job was to make sure the spacecraft's heat shield would keep the astronauts safe. When Starship entered Mars's atmosphere, it would be moving at 16,000 miles per hour. The friction would create temperatures hot enough to melt steel. Only the heat shield stood between the crew and certain death. She rubbed her tired eyes and looked at the simulation again. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The heat shield was made of special tiles that would slowly burn away during entry. This was called ablation. It was supposed to happen, but Maya's computer model showed the tiles burning away too fast. Much too fast. "Come on," she whispered to herself. "This can't be right." Maya had run this simulation hundreds of times over the past 6 months. It always came out perfect. The heat shield would protect the astronauts during the scary 7 minutes of Mars entry. They called it 7 minutes of terror, because that's how long it took to go from space to the surface. But tonight's simulation showed something different. At exactly 47.3 seconds into Mars entry, the heat shield would fail. The protective tiles would be gone. The spacecraft would become a fireball streaking across the red Martian sky. Maya's heart pounded. She thought about Commander Sarah Walsh, the mission leader. Sarah had 3 kids back on Earth. She had dreamed of walking on Mars since she was 8 years old. Tomorrow, her dream would finally come true. Or would it? Maya thought about Dr. James Kim, the mission doctor. He was going to study how the human body worked on Mars. His research could help future Mars colonists stay healthy. She thought about Roberto Santos, the engineer who would help build the first Mars base, and Lisa Zhang, the biologist who would search for signs of ancient life, and Mark Thompson, the geologist who would study Mars rocks, and Anna Petrov, the mission specialist who spoke 5 languages and told the best jokes in the astronaut corps. All 6 of them trusted SpaceX. They trusted Elon Musk. They trusted Maya and thousands of other engineers who had worked day and night to make this mission possible. Maya ran the simulation again. Same result. The heat shield would fail at 47.3 seconds. She tried changing some numbers. Maybe the computer had made a mistake. But every time she ran the test, the answer was the same. The astronauts would die in the Mars atmosphere, and there was nothing anyone could do to save them. Maya's hands shook as she reached for her phone. She needed to call Mission Control right away. They could delay the launch, run more tests, fix whatever was wrong. But then she stopped. What if she was wrong? What if her tired brain had made a mistake? This was humanity's first crewed mission to Mars. People all over the world were watching. Presidents and prime ministers had come to Texas for the launch. If she was wrong, she would ruin everything. Maya stared at the screen. The simulation showed the spacecraft breaking apart in the thin Martian air. She could almost see the horrified faces of the astronauts in their final moments. She had to act. There was no choice. Maya opened a new file and began typing her report. She would explain everything she had found. The failed simulation, the timing of the heat shield failure, the certain death of the crew. Her fingers moved quickly across the keyboard. She saved the data to a secure drive that only she could access. Then she saved backup copies to 3 different servers. This was too important to lose. Maya finished typing and sat back in her chair. She had done the right thing. In a few hours, Mission Control would read her report and delay the launch. It would be disappointing, but it was better than sending 6 people to their deaths. She reached for her phone again. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her supervisor, needed to know about this immediately. The computer screen flickered. Maya looked up confused. The screen went black for a moment, then came back on. But something was wrong. Her simulation data was gone. The report she had just written had vanished. No, 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 Maya whispered. She frantically clicked through folders, searching for her files. Everything related to the heat shield analysis had disappeared. It was as if she had never run the simulation at all. Maya's blood ran cold. Computer systems at SpaceX were the most secure in the world. Files didn't just disappear. Someone had deleted her work. Someone who didn't want her discovery to see the light of day. Maya grabbed her secure drive and checked it. Empty. She logged into the backup servers. All her files were gone. Outside her window, starships stood tall against the night sky. Powerful floodlights made the silver rocket gleam like a monument to human achievement. In less than 12 hours, it would carry 6 brave souls across 140 million miles of empty space to another world. Maya stared at the rocket and felt a chill that had nothing to do with the Texas night air. Someone knew what she had found. Someone with access to SpaceX's most secure systems. Someone who was willing to let 6 astronauts die to keep a secret. Maya's hands trembled as she stared at the empty computer screen. Someone had just erased the most important discovery of her life. Someone who could access SpaceX's most secure systems in the middle of the night. 12:15 a.m. Less than 12 hours until launch. She grabbed her phone and speed-dialed Dr. Elena Rodriguez. The phone rang once, twice, 3 times. Then voicemail. Hi, you've reached Elena Rodriguez. I'm probably sleeping before the big launch tomorrow. Leave a message and I'll call you back. Maya's voice shook as she spoke. Dr. Rodriguez, this is Maya Chen. I found something terrible about the heat shield. The simulation shows catastrophic failure during Mars entry, but someone deleted all my data. Please call me back immediately. This is life or death. She hung up and tried calling again. Voicemail again. Maya looked around the nearly empty engineering floor. Only a few night shift workers remained, monitoring systems and running final checks. Security cameras watched from every corner. Had someone been watching her all night? Had they seen her discover the heat shield problem? She needed backup data. Maya remembered printing some early simulation results earlier that week. She kept hard copies of important work in her desk drawer. If the computers had been compromised, maybe the papers were still safe. Maya rushed to her cubicle and yanked open the drawer. Her heart sank. The drawer was empty except for some old pens and a pack of gum. All her printed reports were gone. Looking for something? Maya spun around. A security guard stood behind her. A middle-aged man with kind eyes and a Texas accent. Oh, hi Tom, I was just checking for some reports I printed. Tom Martinez had worked security at Starbase for 5 years. Maya had always liked him. He remembered everyone's name and asked about their families. Working late again, Miss Chen? You engineers never sleep. Tom smiled, but Maya noticed he seemed nervous. Maybe you should head home. Big day tomorrow. Did you see anyone near my desk earlier? Some of my papers are missing. Tom's smile faded slightly. Can't say I did, but there's been a lot of activity tonight. VIPs coming and going. Extra security sweeps. Maybe your papers got moved during cleaning. Maya nodded, but something felt off. Tom kept glancing at his radio, like he was expecting a call. I think I'll stay a little longer, Maya said. Just want to double-check some things. Actually, Miss Chen, I have orders to escort non-essential personnel out of the building. Security protocol before launch. Maya's stomach dropped. Non-essential? I'm the lead thermal protection engineer. Sorry, those are my orders. You can come back in the morning. Maya had no choice but to follow Tom to the exit. As they walked through the lobby, she noticed 3 black SUVs parked outside. Men in dark suits stood near the vehicles, talking quietly into earpieces. Lot of security tonight, Maya said. Big day tomorrow, Tom repeated. But his voice sounded strained. Outside, the Texas night was warm and humid. Crickets chirped in the grass around the parking lot. Maya got in her car, but didn't start the engine right away. She needed to think. Someone had deleted her files within minutes of her discovery. Someone had stolen her printed reports from a locked desk drawer. Someone had ordered her removal from the building. This wasn't a coincidence. Maya's phone buzzed. A text message from an unknown number. Some discoveries are too dangerous. Walk away. Maya's blood turned to ice. Someone was watching her right now. She looked around the parking lot but saw only empty cars and shadows. She started her engine and drove toward town, checking her rearview mirror every few seconds. No one seemed to be following her. But that didn't make her feel better. Maya needed help. But who could she trust? Dr. Rodriguez wasn't answering her phone. Her other colleagues would be asleep, getting ready for the biggest day of their careers. If she called them with wild stories about deleted files and mysterious text messages, they would think the pressure had gotten to her. She thought about calling the police. But what would she tell them? That someone had deleted computer files? That she received an anonymous text? They would probably think she was crazy. Maya drove to an all-night diner on the edge of town. She needed coffee and time to think. The diner was nearly empty except for a few truckers and night shift workers from nearby oil refineries. She ordered coffee and a sandwich she didn't want. Her phone showed 6 missed calls from her brother David in California. He was a journalist covering technology stories. Maya had told him about the Mars mission months ago. She called him back. "Maya, I've been trying to reach you for hours. Are you okay?" "I'm fine." "Why?" "I've been getting weird calls all evening. People asking about you. Asking if you've talked to me about any problems at SpaceX." Maya's heart raced. What people? They wouldn't say. Claimed to be doing routine security checks before the launch. But something felt wrong about it. They knew too much about your work, about our family. Maya realized the situation was even worse than she thought. Whoever was behind this wasn't just watching her. They were investigating her personal life, her family connections. "David, I need you to listen carefully. Don't talk to anyone else about me or SpaceX. Something bad is happening here." "Maya, you're scaring me. What's going on?" Before Maya could answer, she noticed a black SUV pulling into the diner parking lot. 2 men in suits got out and looked directly at her through the window. "I have to go," Maya whispered into the phone. She left money on the table and headed for the back exit. But another man in a suit was already standing by the rear door. Maya felt trapped. The first 2 men entered the diner. They walked slowly toward her booth, their faces calm but determined. "Miss Chen," one of them said quietly. "We need to talk." Maya looked around desperately. The truckers and oil workers were minding their own business. The teenage waitress was reading a magazine behind the counter. No one would help her. "I don't know who you are," Maya said, trying to keep her voice steady. "We're here to help you," the man said. "You've stumbled onto something that could hurt a lot of people. We want to keep you safe." "Safe from what?" The man glanced around the diner, then sat down across from her. "From making a mistake that could destroy America's space program." Maya's mind raced. These men knew about her discovery. But were they trying to protect the mission, or protect whoever had sabotaged it? "The heat shield data you found tonight," the man continued. "It's not what you think it is." "Then what is it?" "Old simulation data from a canceled test. Someone mixed it up with current files by mistake. We're fixing the error now." Maya stared at him. "You're lying." "I know what I saw." The man's partner stepped closer to the booth. "Miss Chen, we're trying to help you. Tomorrow's launch will be the greatest achievement in human history. Don't let a computer glitch ruin everything." Maya stood up, her legs shaking. "I want to see Dr. Rodriguez. I want to speak to Elon Musk. They're both busy preparing for launch. But I can arrange a meeting tomorrow morning, after the mission is safely underway." After the mission launched, when it would be too late to stop it, Maya realized these men weren't going to let her leave. They would keep her here, or take her somewhere else, until Starship was too far from Earth to turn back. She thought about Commander Sarah Walsh and her 3 children, about Dr. Kim's medical research, about all 6 astronauts who were probably sleeping peacefully right now. Trusting that thousands of SpaceX employees had done their jobs correctly, Maya made a desperate decision. She grabbed her coffee cup and threw the hot liquid at the nearest man, then ran toward the front door. "Stop her!" someone shouted behind her. Maya burst out of the diner and sprinted toward her car. She could hear footsteps pounding on the pavement behind her. Her hands shook as she tried to get her key in the door lock. The engine started just as one of the men reached her car. Maya floored the accelerator and sped out of the parking lot, tires squealing. In her rearview mirror, she saw the men running back to their SUV. Maya drove as fast as she dared on the dark country roads, her heart hammering. She needed to get back to Starbase, but not to her office. She needed to reach the launch pad itself. If she could somehow get close to the rocket, close to the astronauts, maybe she could warn them directly. It was a desperate plan, but it was the only one she had. As she drove through the night toward the launch site, Maya noticed headlights following her in the distance. The black SUV had found her trail. But Maya knew these roads better than her pursuers did. She had been working at Starbase for 3 years, driving to and from the facility every day. She knew every shortcut, every back road. She turned off her headlights and took a dirt road that led to the beach near the launch pad. The road was rough and narrow, but it would bring her close to Starship without going through the main security checkpoints. As Maya bounced along the rutted path, she could see the rocket in the distance, brilliant white under the floodlights. It looked beautiful and peaceful, like a cathedral reaching toward the stars. But Maya knew the truth. In less than 11 hours, that beautiful rocket would carry 6 people to their deaths unless she could find a way to stop it. She parked her car behind some sand dunes and climbed to the top of the highest dune. From here, she could see the entire launch complex. Workers moved around the base of the rocket like tiny ants, making final preparation. Maya pulled out her phone and tried calling Dr. Rodriguez again. Still no answer. Then she noticed something that made her blood freeze. A figure was standing on the observation deck of the launch tower, looking directly at her through binoculars. Even from a distance, even in the darkness, Maya could tell the figure was watching her, waiting for her. The person lowered the binoculars and seemed to wave, as if inviting Maya to come closer. But Maya knew it was a trap. Whoever had deleted her files, stolen her reports, and sent those men to the diner was now waiting for her at the rocket. She looked at her phone. 2:17 a.m. 9 hours and 43 minutes until launch. Maya had to find another way to save the astronauts. But as she started back toward her car, she heard the sound of engines approaching on the dirt road behind her. The black SUV had found her again. Maya crouched behind the sand dune as headlights swept across the beach. The black SUV moved slowly along the dirt road, searching for her car. She held her breath and pressed herself against the cold sand. The SUV stopped. Car doors slammed. Flashlight beams cut through the darkness. "Her car's here somewhere," a man's voice called out. "Check behind those dunes," another voice replied. Maya knew she had minutes before they found her. She needed a new plan fast. The figure on the launch tower was still watching through binoculars. Going to the rocket was definitely a trap. But Maya remembered something from her first week at SpaceX. There was an emergency tunnel that connected the beach to the main facility. It was built in case of hurricanes, so workers could evacuate safely. The tunnel entrance was hidden in the rocks near the water. Maya crawled down the backside of the dune, away from the searching men. She could hear them getting closer. Their flashlights made dancing shadows on the sand. The tunnel entrance was exactly where she remembered it. A metal door built into the rocky cliff, painted to look like part of the natural stone. Maya pulled on the handle. Lock. She tried her keycard. The red light blinked. Her access had been canceled. "Over here," one of the men shouted. "Fresh footprints." Maya looked around desperately. The tunnel was her only way back to the facility without getting caught. She needed to find another way in. Then she remembered Tom Martinez, the security guard. He had seemed nervous when he escorted her out, like he was following orders he didn't like. Maybe he would help her. Maya pulled out her phone and found Tom's number in her contacts. She had called him once before when she forgot her keycard. The phone rang twice before Tom answered. "Maya, why are you calling so late?" "Tom, I need your help. I'm at the beach tunnel entrance. Can you let me in?" There was a long pause. "Maya, what are you doing out there? You're supposed to go home. I found something wrong with the mission. Something that could kill the astronauts. But someone is trying to stop me from reporting it." Another pause. Maya could hear voices on Tom's radio in the background. Maya, there are men looking for you. They say you're having a breakdown from the pressure. That's not true. Tom, you've known me for 3 years. Have I ever lied to you? Maya heard footsteps getting closer. The men with flashlights were almost at her position. Please, Tom. 6 people are gonna die if I can't get back inside. Tom sighed. The tunnel entrance should open now. But Maya, be careful. Things are crazy tonight. Maya heard a click as the door unlocked. She slipped inside just as flashlight beams swept over the rocks where she had been hiding. The tunnel was dark and narrow. Maya used her phone's flashlight to guide her steps. The concrete walls were damp and smelled like salt water. Her footsteps echoed in the empty space. The tunnel came out in the basement of the main engineering building. Maya climbed the stairs carefully. She needed to reach someone with authority to stop the launch. Someone the mysterious men in suits couldn't intimidate. Dr. Rodriguez still wasn't answering her phone. Maya tried calling other supervisors but got only voicemail messages. Everyone was either sleeping or in meetings she couldn't access. Maya realized she needed to get to California. SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne was where the real decisions were made. If she could reach Elon Musk directly, he would listen to her concerns. But the nearest airport was 2 hours away, and the men in suits were probably watching it. Commercial flights to California took hours. She would never make it back in time. Then Maya remembered that SpaceX had its own fleet of jets for executives and VIPs. The planes were kept at a small private airport near Starbase. If she could somehow get on one of those flights, Maya checked the company schedule on her phone. Executive jet was leaving for Hawthorne at 6 a.m. to bring more VIPs for the launch. The passenger list showed several empty seats. She called her friend Jake Martinez, the software engineer who often worked with the flight operations team. Jake had helped her before when she needed access to restricted systems. Maya, it's almost 3 a.m. Is everything okay? Jake, I need a huge favor. Can you add my name to the passenger list for the 6 a.m. flight to Hawthorne? That's a VIP flight. I can't just add random passengers. It's an emergency. I need to speak with Elon about a critical safety issue. Jake was quiet for a moment. Maya, there are rumors going around about you tonight. Security is looking for you. They say you've been acting strange. Jake, please. You know me. I wouldn't ask unless it was life or death. Another pause. Okay, I'll add you to the manifest. But if anyone asks, I never told to you. Maya felt a surge of relief. Thank you. I owe you big time. Maya, whatever you're doing, be careful. There are a lot of powerful people invested in tomorrow's launch. Maya made her way to the parking garage. Her car was still at the beach, but there were company vehicles she could borrow for emergencies. She found a maintenance truck with keys in the ignition. As she drove toward the private airport, Maya practiced what she would say to Elon Musk. How do you tell someone that their greatest achievement might be a disaster? How do you convince them to delay humanity's most important mission based on computer data that had been mysteriously deleted? The airport was small and quiet. Only a few planes sat on the tarmac. Maya could see the SpaceX jet being prepared for flight. Ground crew loaded luggage and checked systems. Maya parked the truck and walked toward the terminal. She tried to look casual, like she belonged there. Her heart pounded as she approached the security checkpoint. Good morning, the guard said. Are you on the Hawthorne flight? Yes. Maya Chen. I should be on the passenger list. The guard checked his computer. Yes. Here you are. Added late last night. Any luggage? Just this, Maya said, holding up her small backpack. Maya couldn't believe it had worked. She was actually going to make it to California. She waited in the small terminal as other passengers arrived. She recognized some of them from SpaceX events. Engineers, managers, and government officials who wanted to be at headquarters for the historic launch. At 5:45 a.m., passengers began boarding the jet. Maya got in line, trying to stay calm. She was so close to reaching help. Excuse me, Miss Chen. Maya turned around. Tom Martinez stood behind her, still wearing his security uniform. Tom, what are you doing here? I needed to talk to you before you left. Tom looked nervous and kept glancing around. About what you told me earlier. About the astronauts being in danger. What about it? Tom lowered his voice. I've been working security here for 5 years. I've seen a lot of strange things, especially on big mission nights. But tonight is different. Different how? People coming and going who don't belong here. Orders from supervisors I've never heard of. Files being moved and deleted. And all the activity is focused on your department. Maya felt a chill. Tom, what are you trying to tell me? I think you're right about something being wrong. But I also think you're in real danger. Those men looking for you? They're not regular security. Then who are they? Tom glanced around again. I don't know, but they have access to everything. They know your every move. The gate agent called for final boarding. Maya looked at the plane, then back at Tom. What should I do? Get on that plane. Reach someone with real authority. But Maya, be very careful who you trust. This goes higher than you think. Maya nodded and hurried toward the plane. As she climbed the stairs, she looked back and saw Tom walking quickly toward his security vehicle. Inside the jet, Maya found a seat near the back. Other passengers were already settling in, reading newspapers or checking their phones. Everyone seemed excited about the upcoming launch. As the plane taxied toward the runway, Maya stared out the window at the lights of Starbase in the distance. Somewhere in that facility, 6 astronauts were waking up on the most important day of their lives. Maya pulled out her phone and tried calling Dr. Rodriguez one more time. Still no answer. The plane lifted off into the dark sky. Maya watched Texas disappear below the clouds. In 4 hours, she would be in California. In 6 hours, she might be talking to Elon Musk himself. But as Maya settled back in her seat, she noticed something that made her stomach drop. 2 rows ahead of her sat a man in a dark suit. He was reading a newspaper, but every minute he glanced back at her. Maya recognized him. He was one of the men from the diner. One of the men who had chased her across the Texas countryside. Somehow they had known she would be on this flight. Maya realized with growing horror that she wasn't escaping the conspiracy. She was flying right into the middle of it. The man in the suit folded his newspaper and turned around to look directly at her. He smiled. But it wasn't a friendly smile. Maya was trapped 30,000 feet in the air with nowhere to run. Maya's hands gripped the armrests of her seat as the man in the dark suit stood up and walked toward her. The airplane cabin suddenly felt very small. "Miss Chen," he said quietly, sitting down in the empty seat beside her. "We need to finish our conversation." Maya looked around the cabin. The other passengers were reading or sleeping. No one was paying attention to her. Even if she screamed, what could anyone do at 30,000 feet? "Who are you?" Maya whispered. "Someone who wants to help you understand the situation." The man opened his briefcase and pulled out a tablet computer. "Let me show you something." The screen displayed a video feed from Starbase. Maya could see the launch pad where Starship stood ready. The timestamp showed 8:00 a.m., 4 hours until launch. "Your astronauts are getting ready right now," the man said. "Commander Walsh just finished breakfast with her family. Dr. Kim is reviewing his medical procedures one last time." Maya watched the screen in horror. She could see tiny figures moving around the base of the rocket. In a few hours, those people would climb into the spacecraft, trusting that everything had been checked and double-checked. "Why are you showing me this?" Maya asked. "Because I want you to understand what's at stake. This isn't just about 6 astronauts. This is about humanity's future among the stars." The man switched to another video feed. This one showed crowds gathering at viewing areas around Starbase. Families with children, reporters from around the world, government officials and space enthusiasts. Thousands of people had come to witness history. "The world is watching," the man continued. "Presidents, prime ministers, billionaires, and ordinary families who saved their money to buy tickets. Everyone believes today will be the greatest day in human history." Maya stared at the crowds on the screen. She saw children holding toy rockets, their faces bright with excitement. She saw elderly couples who remembered the first moon landing and had waited their whole lives to see humans go to Mars. "Now imagine," the man said, "if someone created a false alarm that forced us to cancel the launch. Imagine the disappointment, the lost money, the damaged trust in space exploration. But if there's really a problem with the heat shield, there is no problem." The man's voice was firm. "The data you saw was corrupted. A computer error mixed old simulation files with current ones. We fixed the bug after you left last night. Maya wanted to believe him. It would be so much easier if her discovery had just been a mistake. But something still felt wrong. Then why didn't anyone tell me? Why was I chased by men with guns? No one chased you with guns. Security was trying to find you because you left the facility in a panic. We were worried about your safety. The man showed her another screen. This one displayed her personnel file from SpaceX. Maya saw her photo, her work history, and something that made her blood run cold. A psychological evaluation marked high stress monitor for breakdown. Maya, you've been working 18-hour days for months. You haven't taken a vacation in 2 years. Your supervisor has been concerned about your mental health. Maya stared at the evaluation. She didn't remember taking any psychological test recently. But there it was, with her signature at the bottom. "This is fake," she said. "It's not fake, Maya. It's real. And it's why we're trying to help you. The stress of this mission has pushed you to the breaking point. You're seeing problems that don't exist." The airplane hit some turbulence, and Maya gripped her seat. The man beside her remained calm, watching her with what looked like genuine concern. "I know what I saw," Maya said, but her voice sounded less certain than before. The man pulled up another file on his tablet. "These are the real heat shield simulation results, run just 2 hours ago by 3 different teams. Perfect performance in every test." Maya looked at the data. The numbers all showed successful Mars entry simulations. No failures at 47.3 seconds. No catastrophic heating problems. "If you're right," Maya said slowly, "then I've made a terrible mistake. It's not your fault. The stress, the long hours, the pressure of the most important mission in history, anyone could crack under that weight." Maya felt tears forming in her eyes. Had she really imagined the whole thing? Had her tired mind created a crisis that didn't exist? The man reached into his briefcase again and pulled out a small bottle of pills. "These will help you relax. When we land in California, we'll take you to see a doctor. You can get the help you need." Maya stared at the pills. They looked like ordinary prescription medication. But something deep in her mind screamed a warning. What kind of pills are these? Just something to help with anxiety. Completely safe. Maya thought about everything that had happened since her discovery. The deleted files, the missing reports, the men chasing her through the night. Had it all been products of a stressed mind breaking down under pressure? She looked out the airplane window at the clouds below. Somewhere far beneath them, 6 astronauts were preparing for the journey of their lives. If Maya was wrong, she would destroy their dreams for nothing. If she was right, they would die because she couldn't convince anyone to listen. The man held out the pills again. "Maya, let us help you." Maya reached for the bottle, then stopped. Something Jake Martinez had said on the phone came back to her. He had helped her get on this flight, but he had also said something else. There are a lot of powerful people invested in tomorrow's launch. Why would Jake know about powerful people being invested in the launch? He was just a software engineer. And how had this man known she would be on this specific flight? She had only decided to come to California a few hours ago. Maya pulled her hand back from the pills. "I need to use the bathroom." The man's friendly expression flickered for just a moment. "Of course. But Maya, don't do anything foolish. We're just trying to help." Maya unbuckled her seatbelt and walked toward the back of the plane. The bathroom was tiny, but it gave her a moment to think clearly. She pulled out her phone. No signal at cruising altitude, but she could still access files stored on the device. Maya scrolled through her photos, looking for anything she might have saved from her heat shield work. There a photo she had taken 3 weeks ago of a material stress test. It showed microscopic cracks in the heat shield tiles that weren't supposed to be there. Maya had made a note to investigate further, then forgotten about it in the rush of final preparations. But now, looking at the photo again, Maya realized something terrible. The cracks followed the exact pattern that would cause failure at 47.3 seconds into Mars' atmospheric entry. Her discovery hadn't been a stressed-out hallucination. It had been real. Maya tried to open the bathroom door, but it wouldn't budge. Someone was holding it shut from the outside. "Maya?" The man's voice came through the door. "Are you all right in there?" Maya pushed harder against the door. It moved slightly, but someone was definitely preventing it from opening. "Let me out." Maya, you're having another panic attack. Take some deep breaths. We'll be landing soon. Maya looked around the tiny bathroom for another way out. There was a small window, but it was far too small for a person to fit through. She was trapped again. But then Maya remembered something from her engineering training. Airplane bathroom doors were designed to be opened from the outside in case of medical emergencies. There was usually a way to unlock them from inside if you knew where to look. Maya found a small hidden lever near the door hinge. She pressed it, and the door clicked open so suddenly that the man outside stumbled backward. Maya, please be reasonable. Maya pushed past him and ran toward the front of the plane. Other passengers looked up in surprise as she stumbled down the narrow aisle. Help me, Maya called out. This man is trying to drug me. But the other passengers just stared at her with confusion and concern. To them, she probably looked exactly like someone having a mental breakdown. The flight attendant approached with a worried expression. Ma'am, is everything all right? That man, Maya pointed at the figure in the dark suit, who was walking calmly toward them. He's not who he says he is. He's trying to stop me from preventing a disaster. The flight attendant looked at the man, who showed her an official-looking badge. I'm Dr. Harrison from SpaceX Medical, he said smoothly. Miss Chen has been under tremendous stress. She's having a psychological episode. No, Maya shouted. Check his identification. Call SpaceX. That's not a real doctor. But Maya could see she was losing the battle. To everyone on the plane, she looked like an unstable person making wild accusations against someone trying to help her. The fake Dr. Harrison pulled out the bottle of pills again. Maya, please, these will help you feel better. Maya backed away from him, but there was nowhere to go. The airplane door was sealed shut. She was still trapped, 30,000 feet above the ground, with a man who was determined to stop her from saving 6 lives. Outside the airplane windows, Maya could see the California coastline approaching. In less than an hour, they would be on the ground. In less than 3 hours, the launch countdown would begin. Time was running out, and Maya was further from help than ever. The airplane touched down at Los Angeles International Airport with a bump that jarred Maya from her desperate thoughts. Through the small window, she could see the California sunshine and palm trees. It should have felt hopeful, but Maya knew she was running out of time. 10:30 a.m. 1 hour and 30 minutes until launch. The fake Dr. Harrison stood up as passengers began collecting their bags. He smiled at Maya like nothing had happened. Ready to get some help, Maya? He asked gently. Maya looked around the cabin. The other passengers were avoiding eye contact with her. The flight attendant whispered something to her colleague while glancing in Maya's direction. Everyone thought she was the crazy one. I'm not going anywhere with you, Maya said. Maya, please be reasonable. There's a medical facility near the airport where you can rest and recover. Maya realized that getting off the plane with this man would be the end of everything. Once they had her in some private facility, she would never be able to warn anyone about the mission. As passengers filed toward the exit, Maya made a desperate decision. When they reached the jet bridge, she suddenly broke away from the group and ran toward the terminal. Stop her! Dr. Harrison called out. She's having a medical emergency. But Maya had a head start. She ran through the crowded terminal, weaving between travelers pulling suitcases. Behind her, she could hear security guards being called. Maya needed to get to SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, but it was 20 miles away. The fake doctor and his people would be watching for taxis and rental cars. She needed another way to travel. Maya remembered that Los Angeles had a new subway line that connected LAX to downtown. From there, she could take a bus or find some other way to reach Hawthorne. It wasn't fast, but it might be hard to track. She followed signs to the metro station and bought a ticket with cash. As the train pulled away from the airport, Maya finally felt like she could breathe again. But her relief didn't last long. Maya's phone showed dozens of missed calls from unknown numbers. Someone was definitely trying to reach her. And it probably wasn't good news. One voicemail was from her brother David. Maya, I got a call from someone claiming to be your doctor. They said you're having a breakdown and asked where you might go. I didn't tell them anything, but they seem to know a lot about our family. Be careful. Another message was from Jake Martinez. Maya, where are you? Security is going crazy looking for you. They're saying you stole a company vehicle and missed your shift. Call me back. Maya stared at her phone. Jake sounded genuinely confused, like he didn't know what was really happening. Maybe he wasn't part of the conspiracy after all. She called him back as the subway train rattled through a dark tunnel. Maya, thank goodness you called. Everyone's been looking for you. Jake, I need you to listen carefully. The people looking for me aren't really trying to help. There's something wrong with the Mars mission. Maya, you're scaring me. Dr. Rodriguez said you've been under a lot of stress lately. When did you talk to Dr. Rodriguez? About an hour ago. She said you discovered some computer bug that made you think there was a problem with the heat shield, but the bug has been fixed. Maya felt her heart sink. Even Jake, one of her closest friends at SpaceX, believed the cover story. Jake, I found physical evidence. Microscopic cracks in the heat shield materials. I have photos on my phone. There was a pause. Maya, can you send me those photos? I can run them through our analysis systems. Maya hesitated. If Jake was part of the conspiracy, sending him the photos would just give them more evidence to destroy. But if he was innocent, he might be her only chance to get help. Okay, Maya said. But Jake, if anything happens to me, you need to know that I was murdered. This isn't a breakdown. Maya, don't talk like that. You're really freaking me out. Maya sent the photos and then watched the subway map above the train doors. She was still 15 minutes from downtown Los Angeles, and then she would need to find a way to Hawthorne. Her phone buzzed with a text from Jake. Maya, these photos are incredible. Where did you get them? Maya called him back immediately. Those are from heat shield samples in our materials lab. I took them 3 weeks ago. Maya, these show exactly the kind of stress fractures that would cause catastrophic failure during atmospheric entry. Maya felt a surge of hope. So you believe me? I'm analyzing the patterns now. Give me a few minutes to run some calculations. The subway train pulled into Union Station in downtown Los Angeles. Maya got off and looked around for signs pointing to buses that went to Hawthorne. Her phone rang. Jake sounded excited and worried at the same time. Maya, you were right. These fractures would cause complete heat shield failure at exactly 47.3 seconds into Mars' atmospheric entry. Maya felt tears of relief. Someone finally believed her. But Jake, there's more. The fractures don't look natural. They're too perfectly spaced, like someone designed them that way. What are you saying? I think someone sabotaged the heat shield materials on purpose. Jake was quiet for a long moment. Maya, if that's true, then this goes way beyond a simple equipment failure. This is murder. Maya found a bus stop with a route to Hawthorne. The next bus would arrive in 8 minutes. She looked at her phone. 11:15 a.m. 45 minutes until launch. Jake, I need you to call Mission Control right now. Tell them to delay the launch. Maya, I can't just call and tell them to stop the mission. I need authorization from someone higher up. Then call Elon Musk directly. Maya, I'm a junior software engineer. I don't have Elon Musk's phone number. Maya realized Jake was right. Even with evidence of sabotage, they still needed someone with authority to believe them and act on the information. Okay, Maya said. I'm heading to SpaceX headquarters now. Can you meet me there? Maya, security has orders to detain you if you show up. They think you're dangerous. Then we need to find another way in. The bus to Hawthorne pulled up with a wheeze of air brakes. Maya climbed aboard and found a seat near the back. As the bus pulled away from the station, she watched the Los Angeles skyline pass by the windows. Jake, do you still have access to the heat shield manufacturing records? Yeah, I can pull those up. What am I looking for? Find out when those defective materials were installed, and see if you can trace where they came from. Maya heard Jake typing rapidly on his keyboard. After a few minutes, he came back on the line. Maya, this is really strange. The materials in your photos were installed 6 months ago, but they're not from our regular supplier. What do you mean? They came from a company called Advanced Materials Solutions. But here's the weird part. I can't find any record of us ever doing business with that company before or since. Maya's mind raced. Jake, look up Advanced Materials Solutions. See who owns it. More typing sounds. Then Jake's voice came back sounding shocked. Maya, Advanced Materials Solutions is owned by Artemis Industries. Maya felt her blood turn cold. Artemis Industries was SpaceX's biggest competitor in the space industry. They had lost the contract for the Mars mission to SpaceX 2 years ago. Jake, we need to get this information to someone immediately. Artemis Industries sabotaged our heat shield. But Maya, why would they do that? If the mission fails, it would hurt the entire space industry. Unless they want SpaceX to fail. If our Mars mission crashes, NASA might give the next contract to Artemis instead. The bus was getting close to Hawthorne now. Maya could see the SpaceX logo on buildings in the distance. Jake, I need you to download all the evidence we have and send it to every news outlet you can think of. If we can't stop the launch through official channels, maybe we can create enough public pressure. Maya, are you sure about this? Once this information goes public, there's no taking it back. Maya thought about Commander Sarah Walsh and her 3 children. About Dr. Kim's medical research. About the 5 other brave astronauts who are probably strapping themselves into the Starship right now. I'm sure. Send the information to everyone. Okay, but Maya, be careful. If Artemis Industries really is behind this, they have billions of dollars at stake. They won't hesitate to hurt anyone who gets in their way. The bus stopped near SpaceX headquarters. Maya could see the large building with its distinctive design and the SpaceX logo. But she also saw something that made her stomach drop. 3 black SUVs were parked outside the main entrance. Men in dark suits stood near the vehicles, watching everyone who entered or left the building. They were waiting for her. Maya stayed on the bus as it continued down the street. She needed a new plan. The front entrance was obviously being watched, but maybe there was another way into the building. She remembered visiting SpaceX headquarters during her job interview 3 years ago. The building had a loading dock on the backside, where delivery trucks brought equipment and supplies. Jake, Maya said into her phone, I need you to help me get into the building. Can you meet me at the rear loading dock? Maya? I don't know about this. Security is really tight today. Jake, in 30 minutes, 6 people are going to die unless we can get this information to someone who can stop the launch. There was a long pause. Then Jake sighed. Okay, I'll meet you there. But if we get caught, we're both gonna jail. Maya got off the bus at the next stop and began walking back toward the SpaceX building. She stayed on side streets, avoiding the main roads where the men in suits might be watching. As she approached the rear of the building, Maya could see Jake waiting near the loading dock. He looked nervous and kept checking his phone. But Maya also noticed something else. A figure in a dark suit was standing in the shadows near the building's corner, watching Jake. Maya realized with horror that Jake had been followed. Or worse, maybe he had led them there on purpose. She had to make a choice. Trust Jake and risk walking into a trap, or try to find another way to get help. 25 minutes until launch, and Maya was still no closer to saving the astronauts. Maya crouched behind a parked car, watching Jake at the loading dock. The figure in the dark suit stepped out of the shadows and approached him. Maya's heart sank as she realized Jake was either being threatened or was part of the conspiracy all along. But then something unexpected happened. Jake saw the man coming and immediately pulled out his phone. He started recording a video while backing toward the building entrance. Stay away from me, Jake said loudly. I don't know who you are. The man in the suit tried to grab Jake's phone, but Jake was faster. He ran toward the loading dock door and swiped his keycard. The door opened and Jake disappeared inside the building. Maya realized Jake was innocent. He was being hunted just like her. She sprinted across the parking lot toward the loading dock. The man in the suit was trying to follow Jake, but the door had already locked behind him. When the man saw Maya running toward him, his eyes widened in surprise. Maya Chen, he called out. We've been looking for you. Maya reached the door and pounded on it. Jake, let me in. The door opened immediately. Jake grabbed Maya's arm and pulled her inside. They were in a warehouse area filled with rocket parts and space equipment. Maya, what's going on? Jake gasped. That guy outside was asking questions about you. He knew things about our phone calls. They're listening to everything, Maya said. Jake, we have to get to mission control right now. How much time do we have? Jake checked his phone. 22 minutes until launch. But Maya, mission control is in Texas. We're in California. Maya felt despair washing over her. Even if they could somehow reach mission control by phone, who would believe them? A stressed engineer and a junior software developer claiming the Mars mission was sabotaged. Jake, what about the news outlets? Did you send them the evidence? I tried, but the files are huge. The photo analysis data will take at least 30 minutes to upload. Maya wanted to scream with frustration. They had proof of sabotage, but no way to get it to the right people in time. Then, Jake snapped his fingers. Maya, what about the executive conference room? They're broadcasting live coverage of the launch for VIPs here at headquarters. Maya's eyes lit up. Who's in that room? NASA administrators, government officials, board members, journalists. If we could somehow get in there and show them the evidence, they'd have the authority to stop the launch, Maya finished. Jake led Maya through the warehouse toward an elevator. The conference room is on the top floor, but security will be everywhere. As they waited for the elevator, Maya heard voices coming from the loading dock. The men in suits were trying to find another way into the building. Jake, is there any other evidence we can use? Something that would be impossible to fake or dismiss? Jake thought for a moment. The manufacturing records. I downloaded all the data about those defective heat shield materials. It shows exactly when they were installed and who authorized the purchase. The elevator doors opened and they stepped inside. As they rode up to the executive floor, Jake showed Maya the data on his laptop. Look at this, Jake said, pointing at the screen. The purchase order for the Advanced Materials Solutions parts was signed by someone named Robert Torres. But here's the strange part. There's no employee named Robert Torres in our system. A fake identity, Maya said. Someone inside SpaceX was working with Artemis Industries. The elevator reached the top floor. Through the glass walls, Maya could see the executive conference room. About 20 people sat around a huge table, watching multiple screens showing the launch preparation at Starbase. Maya recognized some faces from news coverage. Dr. Patricia Williams, the NASA administrator. Senator James Murphy, who chaired the Space Committee. Maria Santos, a CNN space reporter. But Maya also saw armed security guards at every entrance to the conference room. How do we get in there? Maya whispered. Jake pointed to an air conditioning vent near the ceiling. The building's ventilation system. I helped install some computer cables through there last year. Maya looked at the vent doubtfully. Jake, I'm not a spy in a movie. I can't crawl through air ducts. You don't have to. The vent leads directly over the conference room. If you can get up there and remove one of the ceiling panels, you could drop down right into the middle of their meeting. Maya stared at Jake. That's completely crazy. Maya, it's the only way. In 18 minutes, those astronauts are going to launch. This might be our last chance. Maya looked at the conference room again. On the screens, she could see the astronauts walking across the bridge to enter Starship. Commander Walsh waved at the cameras. She looked so confident, so excited. Maya made her decision. Help me get up there. Jake found a maintenance ladder in a supply closet. Maya climbed up and removed the cover from the air vent. The space inside was narrow and dark, but she could see light coming from the conference room below. Maya crawled carefully through the ductwork, trying not to make noise. Through the ceiling panels, she could hear the voices of the VIPs discussing the historic mission. T-minus 15 minutes, someone announced. The astronauts are now entering the spacecraft. Maya found a ceiling panel directly above the conference table. She could see everyone below through the small gaps around the panel edges. Maya took a deep breath and pushed the panel aside. It fell to the conference table with a loud crash. The room erupted in shouts of surprise as Maya dropped down into the middle of the meeting. Security guards immediately rushed toward her, but Maya started talking as fast as she could. Please listen to me. I'm Maya Chen from SpaceX Thermal Protection Systems. The Mars mission has been sabotaged by Artemis Industries. Get her out of here, someone ordered. But Dr. Patricia Williams held up her hand. Wait, let her speak. Maya quickly explained her discovery of the heat shield problems, the evidence of sabotage, and the fake materials supplied by Artemis Industries. Dr. Williams, the heat shield will fail at 47 seconds into Mars' atmospheric entry. All 6 astronauts will die unless we abort the launch right now. The room was silent for a moment. Then Senator Murphy spoke up. Young lady, do you realize the seriousness of what you're claiming? Senator, I have proof. Maya pulled out her phone and showed the microscopic photos of the cracked heat shield materials. Dr. Williams studied the images carefully. These do show significant structural damage. But how do we know these photos are from the current mission components? Maya felt her heart sink. Even with evidence, they still didn't believe her. Then Jake's voice came through the room's speaker system. He had somehow connected to the conference room's audio equipment. Dr. Williams. This is Jake Martinez, from SpaceX Software Engineering. I can verify Ms. Chen's claims. I've traced the sabotaged materials to Advanced Materials Solutions, which is owned by Artemis Industries. Jake's laptop screen appeared on the conference room's main display. The manufacturing records clearly showed the trail from Artemis Industries to the defective heat shield parts. Furthermore, Jake continued, the purchase was authorized by someone using a fake identity. Someone inside SpaceX was paid to install these sabotaged components. Dr. Williams stood up from her chair. If this is true, we need to abort the launch immediately. But before anyone could act, the conference room doors burst open. 6 men in dark suits stormed in, led by the fake Dr. Harrison from the airplane. Nobody move, he commanded. Ms. Chen is having a psychotic breakdown. She's created all this false evidence to support her delusions. Maya backed away from the men, but there was nowhere to go in the crowded conference room. Dr. Williams, Maya pleaded, please don't let them stop you from investigating this. Dr. Harrison approached Maya with a syringe in his hand. Maya, you need medical treatment. These hallucinations are getting worse. But Senator Murphy stepped between them. Hold on just a minute. I want to see more of this evidence before anyone gets injected with anything. Maya felt a surge of hope. Someone with real authority was finally taking her seriously. Dr. Williams picked up a red phone on the conference table. I'm calling Mission Control in Texas. We need to delay this launch until we can verify these claims. Maya watched the main screen showing Starship. The astronauts were now inside the spacecraft, running their final checks. Steam vented from the rocket as it prepared for launch. T-minus 12 minutes, the announcer said. Dr. Williams spoke into the red phone. This is NASA Administrator Williams. I'm ordering an immediate launch abort. We have credible evidence of equipment sabotage. Maya held her breath, waiting for the response from Mission Control. But then Dr. Harrison smiled coldly. I'm afraid that won't work, Dr. Williams. You see, this launch is too important to certain people to be stopped by false alarms. Maya realized with horror that the conspiracy went even higher than she had imagined. If Dr. Harrison could confidently challenge the NASA administrator, then people at the very top of the government must be involved. Who are you working for? Dr. Williams demanded. Dr. Harrison ignored the question and spoke into his radio. Initiate final countdown override. Launch proceeds on schedule. On the main screen, Maya could see that nothing had changed at the launch pad. The countdown continued normally, as if Dr. Williams had never called at all. Maya stared in disbelief. Even the NASA administrator didn't have enough power to stop this conspiracy. With 11 minutes left until launch, Maya realized they had failed. The astronauts were going to die, and there was nothing anyone could do to save them. Maya stared at the screens showing Starship in its final countdown. The fake Dr. Harrison stood confidently in the middle of the conference room while armed men blocked every exit. Even the most powerful people in the American space program seemed helpless to stop what was happening. But then someone unexpected walked into the room. Michael Walsh, Commander Sarah Walsh's husband, stepped through the conference room doors. He looked calm, but Maya could see the determination in his eyes. As a former NASA administrator himself, Michael commanded respect from everyone in the room. What's going on here? Michael asked, looking around at the tense scene. Dr. Williams quickly explained Maya's claims about the sabotaged heat shield. Michael listened carefully, his face growing more serious with each detail. Mr. Walsh, Dr. Harrison interrupted. Your wife is about to make history. Don't let a disturbed engineer ruin this moment. Michael turned to look directly at Maya. Miss Chen, my wife is sitting in that spacecraft right now. Are you absolutely certain about what you're telling us? Maya met his gaze. Mr. Walsh, I've been working on thermal protection systems for 3 years. The materials in that heat shield will fail catastrophically during Mars' atmospheric entry. I have photographic evidence and manufacturing records that prove sabotage. Michael walked over to Jake's laptop and studied the data, showing the connection between Artemis Industries and the defective materials. These purchase orders, Michael said slowly. They show materials being installed 6 months ago. But I remember reviewing the heat shield installation schedule. We were supposed to use materials from our primary supplier, Thermaltech Industries. Dr. Harrison stepped forward. Mr. Walsh, please don't let grief and worry cloud your judgment. Your wife needs you to be strong right now. But Michael ignored him. He picked up his phone and dialed a number. This is Michael Walsh. I need you to check the serial numbers on the Starship heat shield tiles right now. Maya could hear a voice responding on the other end of the call. After a few minutes, Michael's face went pale. The serial numbers don't match our installation records, Michael said to the room. Someone did switch out the original materials. A shocked silence filled the conference room. Even some of Dr. Harrison's men looked uncertain. Michael turned to Dr. Williams. Patricia, we need to abort this launch immediately. I already tried, Dr. Williams said. Someone overrode my authority. Michael's expression hardened. Then we go higher. He pulled out a different phone, one that looked more secure than an ordinary cell phone. This is Michael Walsh. I need to speak with the president immediately. We have a national security emergency. Dr. Harrison moved toward Michael. Mr. Walsh, that won't be necessary. Stay back, Michael said firmly. I'm a former NASA administrator and my wife is on that rocket. If you try to stop me from making this call, I'll assume you're part of the sabotage conspiracy. Michael spoke into the secure phone. Mr. President, this is Michael Walsh. We have credible evidence that the Mars mission has been sabotaged by a competitor company. I'm requesting immediate presidential authority to abort the launch. Maya watched the main screen showing the countdown. T-minus 8 minutes. The astronauts inside Starship were probably running through their final checklists, completely unaware of the drama happening in California. Michael listened to the phone for a moment, then handed it to Dr. Williams. The president wants to speak with you directly. Dr. Williams took the phone. Yes, Mr. President. We have documented evidence of sabotaged heat shield materials. Yes, sir. I understand the international implications, but 6 lives are at stake. Yes, sir. I'll implement the abort immediately. She handed the phone back to Michael and picked up the red phone again. Mission Control. This is Exeter Williams with direct presidential authority. You will abort this launch immediately. Presidential Order Alpha 77. Maya held her breath as they waited for a response from Mission Control in Texas. Copy that, Dr. Williams, came the voice from Texas. Initiating launch abort sequence now. On the main screen, Maya could see technicians running toward the rocket. Red warning lights began flashing around the launch pad. The countdown clock stopped at T-minus 6 minutes and 37 seconds. Maya felt tears of relief streaming down her face. They had done it. The astronauts were safe. But Dr. Harrison wasn't finished. You've all made a terrible mistake, he said coldly. This launch represents humanity's future. You've destroyed it based on lies and fabricated evidence. The evidence isn't fabricated, Jake said through the speaker system. I have financial records showing payments from Artemis Industries to Advanced Materials Solutions, and phone records showing communications between Artemis executives and the fake Robert Torres identity. Senator Murphy looked at Dr. Harrison with suspicion. Who exactly are you? You're clearly not a SpaceX medical doctor. Dr. Harrison smiled grimly. I'm someone who believed humanity needed to reach Mars, regardless of the cost. Maya realized what he was saying. You're not trying to stop the mission to help Artemis Industries win future contracts. You're trying to make sure SpaceX fails completely so that no one goes to Mars. Mars colonization is a mistake. Dr. Harrison said, humanity should focus on fixing Earth's problems instead of running away to another planet. A catastrophic failure of the Mars mission would end space exploration for decades. The room erupted in shocked voices. Maya couldn't believe what she was hearing. Dr. Harrison and his people weren't working for a competing company. They were trying to destroy the entire space program. But why kill the astronauts? Dr. Williams demanded, why not just sabotage the rocket so it couldn't launch? Because martyrs are more powerful than mechanical failures, Dr. Harrison replied calmly. If 6 heroes died trying to reach Mars, public opinion would turn against dangerous space missions. No politician would ever approve another Mars mission. Maya felt sick. These people had been willing to murder 6 innocent astronauts just to advance their political agenda. Michael Walsh stepped toward Dr. Harrison, his face filled with anger. You were going to kill my wife to make a political point? Your wife volunteered for a dangerous mission, Dr. Harrison said. She accepted the risks. She accepted the risks of space travel, Michael said through gritted teeth. She didn't accept the risk of being murdered by fanatics. Security guards began surrounding Dr. Harrison and his men. Maya realized that with presidential authority behind the investigation, these conspirators would finally face justice. On the screen, Maya could see the astronauts being helped out of the starship. Commander Walsh looked confused and disappointed, but she was alive. They were all alive. Dr. Williams was already on the phone with the FBI, arranging for the arrest of everyone involved in the conspiracy. Jake was downloading more evidence from SpaceX servers, building a complete case against the saboteurs. But Maya had one more question. Dr. Harrison, how did you get access to SpaceX's secure systems? How did you know about my discoveries so quickly? Dr. Harrison smiled coldly but didn't answer. Maya looked around the room at all the SpaceX employees and government officials. Someone in this room, or someone with similar access, had been feeding information to the conspiracy. Jake, Maya said, can you trace the computer access logs? Find out who deleted my simulation data. Jake's fingers flew over his keyboard. After a few minutes, his face went white. Maya. The deletion command came from Dr. Rodriguez's computer, but it was executed at 11:52 p.m. when she was supposed to be asleep. Maya's heart sank. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, her supervisor and mentor, had been part of the conspiracy all along. Either someone hacked Dr. Rodriguez's computer, Maya said. She didn't want to finish the sentence. Dr. Rodriguez had been like a mother to Maya at SpaceX. The idea that she would betray the mission and risk the lives of the astronauts was almost too painful to accept. But as Maya thought back over the past 24 hours, the pieces began falling into place. Dr. Rodriguez hadn't answered her phone calls. She had dismissed Maya's concerns about the heat shield. She had access to all the systems that had been compromised. We need to find Dr. Rodriguez, Maya said quietly. Michael Walsh was already making another phone call. I'm having the FBI investigate everyone with high-level access at SpaceX. If there are other traitors in the organization, we'll find them. Maya looked at the screens one more time. The astronauts were walking across the bridge away from Starship. Their mission postponed, but their lives saved. Ground crews were already beginning the process of replacing the sabotaged heat shield materials. Maya had succeeded in saving 6 lives, but she realized the conspiracy might go even deeper than anyone suspected. Who else at SpaceX had been working to destroy humanity's dreams of reaching Mars? The investigation was just beginning. FBI agents arrived at SpaceX headquarters within an hour of the aborted launch. Maya watched from the conference room as they led Dr. Harrison and his men away in handcuffs. But her mind kept returning to one disturbing fact. Someone she trusted had betrayed everything she believed in. Dr. Elena Rodriguez had been Maya's mentor for 3 years. She had hired Maya straight out of college. She had taught her everything about thermal protection systems. Maya had even spent Thanksgiving dinner at Dr. Rodriguez's house with her family. Jake was still working at his laptop, tracing digital footprints through SpaceX's computer systems. Maya, I found something else strange. Dr. Rodriguez's keycard was used to access the materials lab at 2:30 a.m. last night, but the security cameras show the lab was empty at that time. Someone else was using her keycard, Maya said. Or she was there but knew how to avoid the cameras, Jake replied grimly. Michael Walsh ended another phone call and approached Maya. Miss Chen, I can't thank you enough for what you did. My wife and her crewmates are safe because of your courage. Maya felt a mix of pride and sadness. I just wish I could have figured it out sooner, before we got so close to launch. Maya, Michael said gently, you figured it out in time. That's what matters. FBI agent Sarah Kim entered the conference room. Maya had met her briefly when Dr. Harrison was arrested. Agent Kim was young, probably only a few years older than Maya, but she had the confident bearing of someone used to solving complex cases. Miss Chen, Agent Kim said, we need to talk to you about Dr. Rodriguez. When did you first suspect she might be involved? Maya thought carefully. I didn't suspect her at all until Jake traced the computer access. Dr. Rodriguez has always been dedicated to SpaceX's mission. She worked 18-hour days just like the rest of us. But she didn't answer your phone calls last night, Jake pointed out. She was probably sleeping. The launch was going to be the biggest day of her career. Agent Kim showed Maya a tablet computer. We've been analyzing Dr. Rodriguez's financial records. 3 weeks ago, she received a wire transfer of $500,000 from a shell company that we've traced back to the same group that employed Dr. Harrison. Maya stared at the screen in disbelief. $500,000 was more money than Dr. Rodriguez made in 2 years at SpaceX. There has to be an explanation, Maya said. Maybe someone hacked her bank account. Maya, Agent Kim said gently. We also found encrypted communications between Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Harrison's organization. She was feeding them information about your work, your schedule, and the heat shield testing procedures. Maya felt like the floor was falling out from under her. But why? Why would she do this? Jake looked up from his laptop. Maya, I found something else. Remember how quickly your simulation data was deleted after you discovered the heat shield problem? The deletion command was executed exactly 5 minutes after you saved your analysis. So someone was monitoring your computer in real time. They were watching every keystroke, every file you opened. The moment you discovered the sabotage, they erased the evidence. Maya realized the horrible truth. Dr. Rodriguez set up the monitoring software. She had administrative access to all our computers. It gets worse, Jake continued. I found logs showing that Dr. Rodriguez accessed the heat shield manufacturing database 6 months ago. She's the one who approved the switch from Thermal Tech Industries to Advanced Materials Solutions. Maya sat down heavily in a conference room chair. Everything she had believed about her mentor was crumbling. Dr. Rodriguez hadn't just been feeding information to the conspiracy, she had been actively sabotaging the mission from the beginning. But I still don't understand why, Maya said. Dr. Rodriguez loved space exploration. She got me excited about working on Mars missions. She always said reaching Mars was humanity's greatest challenge. Agent Kim sat down across from Maya. People's motivations can be complex. We're still investigating Dr. Rodriguez's exact reasons, but we have some theories. What theories? Dr. Rodriguez's daughter was killed in a car accident 2 years ago. Her daughter had been accepted to study aerospace engineering at MIT. She dreamed of working on Mars missions. Maya felt a chill of understanding. So when her daughter died, Dr. Rodriguez blamed space exploration for taking her daughter away from Earth? It's possible. Grief can change people in unexpected ways. If Dr. Rodriguez started to believe that Mars missions were dangerous distractions from Earth's problems, she might have convinced herself that sabotage was justified. Jake pulled up another file on his computer. There's something else. Dr. Rodriguez has been secretly funding an environmental activist group called Earth First. They believe space exploration wastes resources that should be used to fight climate change. Maya remembered Dr. Harrison's words about humanity needing to fix Earth's problems instead of running away to Mars. So Dr. Rodriguez and Dr. Harrison were working together to destroy the Mars program. But from different angles, Agent Kim explained. Dr. Harrison's group used fear and violence. Dr. Rodriguez used her position inside SpaceX to sabotage missions from within. Maya's phone buzzed with a text message. She looked at it and froze. Maya, I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I never wanted to hurt you. But some sacrifices are necessary for humanity's future. Elena. Maya showed the message to Agent Kim, who immediately called for backup. She's still out there, and she knows we've discovered her involvement. Jake stood up suddenly. Maya, I just realized something. Dr. Rodriguez has access to more than just the heat shield systems. She knows about every safety system on Starship. What are you saying? I'm saying that even though we stopped the launch, the spacecraft might still be sabotaged. What if there are other problems we haven't found yet? What if Dr. Rodriguez planted multiple failure points? Agent Kim was already on her phone, calling Mission Control in Texas. This is FBI Agent Kim. We need immediate inspection of all Starship systems. We have reason to believe there may be additional sabotage beyond the heat shield materials. Maya felt a new wave of panic. They had saved the astronauts from one disaster, but there might be others waiting. Dr. Rodriguez had 3 years of access to SpaceX systems. She could have sabotaged anything. Jake, can you run a complete audit of all the systems Dr. Rodriguez accessed over the past year? Jake's fingers flew over his keyboard. Maya, this is going to take hours. She accessed hundreds of different systems and databases. Then we need help. Maya turned to Agent Kim. Can the FBI get more computer experts to help with this investigation? Already on it. We're bringing in cybercrime specialists from Washington. But Maya knew they were racing against time in a different way now. Once SpaceX engineers discovered additional sabotage, they would want to rebuild and retest everything. That could delay the Mars mission for months or even years. Dr. Rodriguez's plan was still working, even though she had been exposed. The longer the delay, the more public enthusiasm would fade. Eventually, politicians might decide that Mars missions were too risky and expensive. Maya looked at the screens showing Starship sitting empty on the launch pad. The rocket looked lonely and abandoned, like a monument to failed dreams. But then Maya had an idea. Jake, what if we're thinking about this wrong? What do you mean? Dr. Rodriguez wanted to delay or destroy the Mars mission. But what if we can turn her own sabotage against her? Agent Kim looked puzzled. I don't follow. Maya stood up and began pacing around the conference room. Think about it. Dr. Rodriguez spent months planning this sabotage. She was careful, methodical, and smart. But she also documented everything in computer systems. So if Jake can trace all of her access logs, we can find every single thing she sabotaged. Instead of spending months wondering if the spacecraft is safe, we can systematically check and fix everything she touched. Jake's eyes lit up. Maya, that's brilliant. Instead of searching randomly for problems, we followed Dr. Rodriguez's digital footprints and fix everything she had access to. How long would that take? Agent Kim asked. Jake calculated quickly. With enough people working on it, maybe 2 weeks instead of 2 months. Maya felt hope returning. Agent Kim, can you help us get the resources we need? If we work fast enough, we might still be able to launch the Mars mission this year. I'll make some calls, Agent Kim said. But Maya, there's still one problem. Dr. Rodriguez is still out there somewhere. What if she tries to sabotage the spacecraft again? Maya's phone buzzed with another text message from Dr. Rodriguez. The Earth is dying while we play with rockets. I won't let you destroy our children's future. Maya stared at the message. Dr. Rodriguez wasn't just hiding from the FBI. She was planning something else. And Maya realized with growing fear that her former mentor might try one last desperate act to stop the Mars mission permanently. 3 hours after the aborted launch, Maya stood in the SpaceX parking lot watching FBI agents search every car and building. Dr. Rodriguez had vanished completely. But Maya knew she was still somewhere nearby. Her former mentor wouldn't give up this easily. Maya's phone rang. It was her brother David calling from his hotel room in Texas. Maya, I've been watching the news all day. They're saying you're a hero who saved the Mars mission. I don't feel like a hero, Maya said tiredly. Dr. Rodriguez is still out there and she might try something else. Maya, there's something I need to tell you. I've been investigating Artemis Industries for a story about the space industry. I found some things that don't make sense. Maya felt alert suddenly. What kind of things? Financial records that don't add up. Artemis Industries has been losing money for 2 years, but they've been spending millions on a secret project called Red Planet Redirect. I couldn't figure out what it meant. Maya's mind raced. David, can you send me everything you found? Already done. Check your email. Maya opened David's files on her phone. The financial documents showed huge payments from Artemis Industries to various shell companies. But as Maya studied the dates and amounts, she realized something shocking. The payments weren't going to Dr. Harrison's anti-space group. They were coming from that group to Artemis Industries. Jake, Maya called out as she found him near the FBI command center. Look at this. I think we've been wrong about the whole conspiracy. Jake studied David's financial documents. His eyes widened as he understood what Maya was seeing. Maya, this shows that Dr. Harrison's group was paying Artemis Industries, not the other way around. Which means Artemis Industries wasn't trying to sabotage SpaceX to win contracts. They were being paid to help sabotage the entire space industry. Maya felt like pieces of a giant puzzle were finally falling into place. Dr. Harrison's anti-space group had been using Artemis Industries as a cover. They made it look like corporate espionage, but their real goal was to destroy all Mars missions. But there was still something that bothered Maya. She had started this whole investigation because she found evidence of sabotaged heat shield materials. But now she wondered, had she really found that evidence, or had someone wanted her to find it? Maya thought back to that night in her office 24 hours ago. She had been running routine simulations when she discovered the heat shield problem. But Maya realized she couldn't remember why she had decided to run those particular tests that night. "Jake, I need to ask you something. And I want you to be completely honest." Jake looked nervous. "Okay. That night when I discovered the heat shield problem, did you suggest that I run those simulations?" Jake was quiet for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. "Maya, I was going to tell you eventually. But yes, I suggested you check the heat shield data one more time." Maya felt her heart sinking. "Why?" "Because someone asked me to. Someone said they were worried about the heat shield performance, but they didn't want to delay the launch with false alarms. They wanted an independent engineer to verify the data." "Who asked you?" Jake looked ashamed. "Dr. Rodriguez. She said she had some concerns but didn't want to create panic if she was wrong. She asked me to suggest that you run the simulations because she trusted your analysis more than anyone else's." Maya stared at Jake in disbelief. "So Dr. Rodriguez manipulated me into discovering the sabotage?" "Maya, I'm so sorry. I thought she was just being cautious. I had no idea she was part of a conspiracy." Maya's mind was spinning. If Dr. Rodriguez had wanted her to find the sabotaged materials, that meant the whole crisis had been planned from the beginning. But why would Dr. Rodriguez want her own sabotage to be discovered? Then Maya realized the truth, and it was more disturbing than anything she had imagined. "Jake, what if the materials I found weren't actually installed on Starship? What if Dr. Rodriguez planted fake evidence to make me think the mission was sabotaged?" Jake's face went pale. "You mean the heat shield was never really in danger? Think about it. Dr. Rodriguez had access to old rejected materials from previous tests. She could have planted them in the lab for me to find. She could have created fake computer simulations showing heat shield failure. But Maya, we found the manufacturing records showing materials from Advanced Materials Solutions were purchased and installed. What if those records were fake too? What if Dr. Rodriguez created false documentation to make the sabotage look real?" Maya pulled out her phone and called Michael Walsh. "Mr. Walsh, I need you to ask Mission Control something important. Are the heat shield materials currently on Starship actually from Advanced Materials Solutions, or are they from our regular supplier?" Michael called Mission Control while Maya waited anxiously. After 10 minutes, he called back. "Maya, you were right to be suspicious. The technicians just checked the serial numbers again. The heat shield tiles currently on Starship are from Thermal Tech Industries, our regular supplier. They've been there all along." Maya felt a mix of relief and confusion. So the astronauts were never actually in danger? Not from heat shield failure anyway. But Maya, this raises a bigger question. Why would Dr. Rodriguez create fake evidence of sabotage? Maya thought about everything that had happened in the past 24 hours. The deleted computer files, the chase across Texas, the men in dark suits, the dramatic confrontation in the conference room. "Mr. Walsh, I think Dr. Rodriguez wanted to create a crisis that would be discovered and resolved just in time. She wanted the world to think SpaceX had almost sent astronauts to their deaths due to poor quality control, but the mission was aborted. How does that help her cause?" Maya realized the horrible genius of Dr. Rodriguez's plan. Because now everyone will demand months of additional safety inspections before any Mars mission can proceed. Dr. Rodriguez created a scandal that will delay space exploration for years, even though there was never any real danger. Jake was listening to Maya's conversation with growing alarm. "Maya, if you're right, that means Dr. Rodriguez outsmarted all of us. She made us do exactly what she wanted us to do." Maya felt sick as she understood the full scope of the deception. Dr. Rodriguez had manipulated Maya into finding fake evidence. She had arranged for Maya to be chased and threatened, making the danger seem real. She had even ensured that Maya would eventually reach the right authorities and expose the sabotage. All of it had been theater, designed to make the world lose confidence in Mars missions. "But there's one thing I don't understand," Maya said. "If Dr. Rodriguez wanted me to find the fake evidence and stop the launch, why did she send Dr. Harrison's people to chase me and try to drug me?" Jake had been thinking about the same question. "Maya, what if Dr. Harrison's group didn't know they were working with Dr. Rodriguez? What if she was using them just like she used us? Maya's phone buzzed with another text from Dr. Rodriguez. I'm sorry you had to go through so much fear, Maya. But sometimes we must sacrifice our comfort to save humanity's future. The world will thank us someday. Maya stared at the message in horror. Dr. Rodriguez wasn't apologizing for betraying the mission. She was apologizing for manipulating Maya into helping her destroy it. Jake, Dr. Rodriguez is still out there, and she thinks she's won. But we can still save the Mars program. How? By proving that her evidence was fake. If we can show the world that there was never any real sabotage, we can get the mission back on track. But as Maya spoke, she heard the sound of sirens in the distance. Fire trucks and ambulance were racing toward the SpaceX facility. Maya's phone rang. It was Agent Kim. Maya, we need you back at the building immediately. There's been an explosion in the materials testing lab. Maya's blood ran cold. The lab where she had found the fake evidence. The lab where Jake had been working to trace Dr. Rodriguez's sabotage. Is anyone hurt? Maya asked. We don't know yet, but Maya, all the evidence we collected about Dr. Rodriguez's activities was stored in that lab. If it's been destroyed, Maya realized with growing dread that Dr. Rodriguez had just played her final card. Without evidence to prove the sabotage was fake, the world would continue to believe that Mars missions were too dangerous to attempt. Dr. Rodriguez had won after all. Maya raced toward the SpaceX building as fire trucks surrounded the materials testing lab. Smoke poured from broken windows and firefighters dragged hoses toward the burning structure. Maya's heart pounded as she realized that all their evidence against Dr. Rodriguez was going up in flames. Agent Kim met Maya at the security perimeter. The explosion happened 20 minutes ago. Someone used a small bomb to destroy the lab where we stored the fake heat shield materials and computer records. Was anyone hurt? Maya asked. No injuries, thankfully. The lab was empty when it exploded. But Maya, without that evidence, we can't prove that Dr. Rodriguez faked the sabotage. The world will continue believing that Mars missions are too dangerous. Maya stared at the burning building. Dr. Rodriguez had planned everything perfectly. Even her final move had been calculated to destroy any chance of exposing the truth. But then Jake appeared at Maya's shoulder, carrying his laptop and a huge grin. Maya, Dr. Rodriguez made one mistake. She forgot about cloud backups. Maya's eyes widened with hope. What do you mean? Every file I analyzed today was automatically backed up to SpaceX's secure cloud servers. All the evidence showing fake manufacturing records, planted materials, and manipulated computer simulations. It's all still there. Agent Kim looked skeptical. But Dr. Rodriguez had administrative access. Couldn't she delete the cloud backups too? Jake shook his head. Not these ones. I used my personal developer account to create encrypted backups that only I can access. Dr. Rodriguez doesn't even know they exist. Maya felt a surge of excitement. Jake, can you prove that the sabotage evidence was fake? Better than that. I can prove exactly how Dr. Rodriguez created the fake evidence. She used old rejected materials from 2023 tests and created false manufacturing records to make them look current. Agent Kim was already on her phone, calling her FBI team. We can still build a case against Dr. Rodriguez. But first, we need to find her before she disappears completely. Maya's phone buzzed with another message from Dr. Rodriguez. The fire was just cleaning up loose ends. By tomorrow, no politician will approve dangerous space missions for decades. Humanity will focus on Earth where we belong. Maya stared at the message. Dr. Rodriguez was so confident in her victory that she was openly admitting to the bombing. Agent Kim, Maya said, Dr. Rodriguez just confessed to the explosion in a text message. Agent Kim examined Maya's phone. This is perfect evidence. We can trace her location through cell phone towers. Within minutes, FBI technical teams were tracking Dr. Rodriguez's phone signal. Maya watched on Agent Kim's tablet as the signal moved through the streets around SpaceX headquarters. She's only 2 miles away, Agent Kim reported. At the Hawthorne Municipal Airport, Maya's blood ran cold. There are private jets at that airport. If she gets on a plane, she could escape to any country that doesn't have an extradition treaty with the United States. Agent Kim was already calling for backup. All units converge on Hawthorne Municipal Airport. Suspect is attempting to flee by aircraft. Maya, Jake and Agent Kim raced toward the airport in an FBI vehicle. Maya's mind was spinning with everything that had happened in the past 24 hours. It seemed impossible that just yesterday morning, she had been a normal engineer worried about routine heat shield tests. Now she was chasing her former mentor across Los Angeles to prevent the destruction of humanity's space exploration dreams. At the airport, Maya could see a small private jet preparing for takeoff. Ground crews were removing wheel chocks and preparing to clear the plane for departure. "That's her," Agent Kim said, pointing to a figure in a dark coat climbing the steps to the aircraft. FBI vehicles surrounded the plane just as Dr. Rodriguez reached the top of the boarding stairs. She turned and looked directly at Maya through the car window. For a moment, Maya saw not the villain who had manipulated her, but the mentor who had taught her to love space exploration. Dr. Rodriguez looked sad and tired, like someone carrying an enormous burden. But then Dr. Rodriguez pulled out her phone and made a call. Maya watched in horror as the jet engines began spinning up. "She's trying to take off anyway," Agent Kim said. "Airport security. Close all runways immediately." But the pilot was already taxiing toward the runway. FBI agents ran alongside the moving aircraft, but they couldn't stop a jet with their cars and radios. Maya felt desperate. Dr. Rodriguez was about to escape, and without her confession, the world might never learn the truth about the fake sabotage. Then Maya had an idea. "Agent Kim, give me a bullhorn." "What are you planning?" "Something that might be crazy, but it's our only chance." Agent Kim handed Maya a portable speaker system. Maya spoke into the microphone, her voice carrying across the airport. "Dr. Rodriguez, this is Maya Chen. I know you can hear me." The jet stopped taxiing. Maya could see Dr. Rodriguez looking out a window at her. "Dr. Rodriguez, you taught me that space exploration represents the best of human nature. Our curiosity, our courage, our determination to grow beyond our limitations." Maya's voice cracked with emotion as she continued. "You showed me that reaching for Mars isn't about running away from Earth's problems. It's about developing the technology and knowledge to solve those problems." The jet engines powered down slightly. Dr. Rodriguez was listening. "Elena, you lost your daughter, and that grief changed how you saw everything. But your daughter wanted to be part of humanity's greatest adventure. She would be heartbroken to know that her mother destroyed the dreams she died believing in." Maya could see movement inside the aircraft. Dr. Rodriguez was standing up, moving toward the door. "Elena, it's not too late. Help us fix this. Help us show the world that space exploration and environmental protection can work together." That's what your daughter would have wanted. The aircraft door opened. Dr. Rodriguez appeared at the top of the stairs, tears streaming down her face. "Maya," she called out, "I thought I was saving humanity from a dangerous mistake." "You were just trying to save yourself from losing anyone else you love," Maya replied gently. "But Elena, we can't build the future by destroying hope." Dr. Rodriguez slowly walked down the aircraft stairs. FBI agents surrounded her, but she didn't resist. She looked at Maya with the expression of someone waking up from a long nightmare. "Maya, I'm so sorry for what I put you through. You're right about everything. I let grief poison my judgment." Agent Kim placed handcuffs on Dr. Rodriguez, but her touch was gentle. "Dr. Rodriguez, you're under arrest for sabotage, conspiracy, and domestic terrorism. But your cooperation in correcting the damage you've caused will be noted." As Dr. Rodriguez was led away, she called back to Maya. "The backup files Jake created, make sure everyone sees them. Make sure the world knows the truth." Maya nodded. "I promise." 3 days later, Maya stood in mission control at Starbase, watching the final preparations for the Mars mission's rescheduled launch. Jake's cloud backups had provided all the evidence needed to prove that Dr. Rodriguez's sabotage claims were fake. The investigation had taken 72 hours instead of months. Public confidence in the mission had been restored when NASA and the FBI jointly announced that no actual sabotage had occurred. Commander Sarah Walsh and her 5 crewmates were once again preparing to make history. This time, there were no last-minute crises, no desperate races against time. Maya watched the countdown on the big screen. T-5 minutes and counting. Her phone buzzed with a text from her brother David. "Proud of you, sis. You saved humanity's future." Another message came from Agent Kim. "Dr. Rodriguez pled guilty to all charges. She's cooperating fully with our investigation." She asked me to tell you she's proud of the engineers she trained. Maya looked up at the screens showing Starship, brilliant white against the blue Texas sky. In a few minutes, 6 brave explorers would begin humanity's greatest journey. T-minus 60 seconds. The launch director announced. Maya thought about everything she had learned in the past 3 days. Sometimes the people we trust most can let us down. Sometimes we have to risk everything to do what's right. Sometimes saving the future means having the courage to expose difficult truths. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Starship lifted off the launch pad in a pillar of flame and thunder. Maya watched through the windows as the rocket climbed into the morning sky, carrying 6 humans toward a distant red planet. As the spacecraft disappeared into the blue, Maya smiled. The next 24 hours hadn't just decided everything. They had decided that humanity's greatest adventure would continue. The future was safe in the hands of people brave enough to reach for the stars. That was the end of this incredible story about Maya Chen, the brave engineer who saved humanity's greatest mission through courage, determination, and the willingness to stand up for what's right. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Drop a comment below and tell me which country or city you're tuning in from. It's amazing to connect with viewers from all around the world. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a thumbs up. Your likes help more people discover these inspiring tales. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for many more interesting stories like this one. We share new adventures every week that will keep you on the edge of your seat. Most importantly, please share this video with your friends and family. When we spread stories about courage, integrity, and never giving up on our dreams, we help make the world a little brighter. Together, we can spread kindness and awareness about the importance of standing up for truth, even when it's scary. Thanks for listening. And remember, sometimes the next 24 hours really can decide everything. Until next time, keep reaching for the stars.